Welcome back to the Midnight Page, Stories After Dark. My grandmother was from County Sligo, Ireland. She had a story she'd only tell once, and only if you asked directly. She never brought it up herself. It happened when she was 17, walking home from a dance in the village. It was past midnight, and she was taking the boreen, the narrow country road, back to her family's farm. Autumn night, 1952, full moon. She heard the hoofbeats before she saw anything, but they sounded wrong. Not the clean clip-clop of a horse on packed dirt. These were wet, heavy, like something rotting hitting the ground over and over. She stepped off the road into the hedgerow, and that's when it came around the bend. A horse, massive, black as tar, eyes glowing this sick yellow-green, steam pouring from its nostrils, and on its back, a rider in a long black coat. But the rider had no head. Where his neck ended, there was just a stump, ragged, and in his right hand, held high like a lantern, was his own head, grinning, eyes still moving, looking around, looking for something. The Dullahan, the death coach driver, the herald. My grandmother pressed herself into the thorns of the hedge and didn't breathe. She'd been told the stories. Everyone in Ireland knows. If the Dullahan stops in front of you, if he speaks your name, you die. Right there. Your soul is claimed. The horse slowed as it passed her hiding spot. The head. Jesus Christ, the head in his hand. It turned, looked right at where she was hiding. The mouth opened, and this voice came out, like wind through a crypt. I can smell you, girl. She bit her tongue so hard she tasted blood. The Dullahan pulled the reins, and the horse stopped. Right there. 5 feet from where she hid. I am riding to a house tonight, the head said. Someone's name is in my book, but I smell fear here, fresh and young. The head tilted, those dead eyes scanning the hedgerow. Should I add another name? My grandmother closed her eyes and prayed, every prayer she knew. Hail Mary, Our Father, all of them, just cycling through her head like a chant. And then she remembered. Gold. The old story said the Dullahan fears gold. It's the only thing that can turn them away. She had a gold cross. Small thing. From her confirmation. She ripped it from her neck and threw it onto the road. The effect was immediate. The horse shrieked, not a whinny, a human scream, and reared back. The Dullahan's head hissed, and the rider wheeled the horse around. But before they left, the head turned one last time. You have bought yourself time, girl, but I will remember your smell, and one day I will ride for you. We always collect what's owed. Then they were gone, just the sound of those wet hoofbeats fading into the distance. My grandmother waited in that hedge for 2 hours before she dared move. When she finally got home, her father was sitting at the kitchen table, pale and silent. The neighbor, old Mr. Hennessy, 3 farms over, had died in his sleep that night, exactly at midnight. She never walked that road again after dark. Never. And 53 years later, when she was dying in the hospital, she woke up at 3 a.m. and grabbed my mother's hand. "He's here," she whispered. "I can hear the hoofbeats. I can smell the rot." My mother looked around. The room was empty. "Who, Mom?" "The rider," she said. Her eyes were wide, looking at something in the corner of the room my mother couldn't see. "He said he'd come back. He always collects." She died 20 minutes later, and my mother swears that as my grandmother took her last breath, she heard it from outside the hospital window, 3rd floor, the wet, heavy sound of hoofbeats, and then silence.